up, get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, State of Mind.
Okay, hi, this is State of Mind. If you like what you see, hit the little button right here, subscribe. I want to hit 120,000, I think we're getting close. And I appreciate that from everybody who watches State of Mind. And I'm very proud of the show, obviously. I have somebody on the show who, stand-up guy, I could tell. I just met him. Before I get into showing you who he is, because I like to tease. You know, in the beginning of my shows, I don't know what I'm going to say, really. And at the end of my shows, I don't know what I'm going to say. But I'm going to say this. There's a war going on. And I'm not political in the sense of I don't speak much about it. But I do know in Israel, things have happened to human beings, especially to children, that, oh man, I get so angry, that shouldn't be happening in so many ways. But I want to say to all the Marines and people in the forces, they are, I know it's a cliche, but they are the true heroes. To do what they do, I can't fathom. I play a tough guy on TV, and I'm kind of tough. But what these people do, these heroes, in these wars, and they go in and they do what they do. To me, basic training is, that's it, I'm out, okay? Can you imagine basic training? And then they have to go and fight for us. Anyway, all right. Daniel Lee Colvin is a realtor, actor, entrepreneur, but I just want to say to him, just right off the bat, thank you for your service, man.
My pleasure. Greatest country on earth. Thank you.
Oh, damn, that's like...
My mic?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah. Because you said, I try to pause whatever you say.
All right, I'll do the end again. I'll have to do my thing again.
No, just start wherever you're going to start. Daniel, do a mic check.
Check 1, 2. Daniel here.
All right, you're good. Whenever you're ready.
All right, so who I have today, Anna Demergis, who's a friend of mine, said that you needed to be on State of Mind because it's your life is phenomenal, and I'm glad that I listened to her. Daniel Lee Colvin, how are you, buddy?
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for your service, man.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
So what I want to do with you, I got questions, you know?
Of course.
But I just want to start from the beginning, like where you're from, how many brothers and sisters you have, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, too easy. Small town kid, born and raised in a little town called Bellevue, Ohio, which is about 60 miles west of Cleveland, close to Lake Erie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandusky, Ohio, home of Cedar Point Amusement Park, major amusement park. Most people in the Midwest know.
What is it? It's a big
Amusement park, largest roller coaster, fastest roller coaster, the most roller coasters. The damn place is on its own island in the middle of the lake. You take a 2-mile causeway bridge out to the amusement park. So as a kid, I mean,
Damn.
It
How
was-
big is the
It was
roller coaster?
phenomenal. Gosh, was it 400 feet up, 409 or 399 or something? 99 miles an hour straight down. Oh my gosh. I loved it as a kid. I took my daughter, I remember the first time she was age at the height to ride. I didn't even enjoy the ride. I was busy trying to hold her in while we're riding, and I'm paranoid, like, okay, this is parenting 101. You're always anxious. You're always nervous about your kid. It never goes away. So,
Wow.
yeah, Bellevue, Ohio. Phenomenal. Great childhood.
So I was born in San Francisco. So you know who the 49ers are playing tomorrow? Cleveland.
Oh, boy. Have
Well,
fun.
no, but Cleveland's good. But I think the quarterback's not there, right? I don't know.
Yeah, the running back, Nick Chubb, was out for a minute, and he's a beast. He's a
yeah.
beast of a man.
The Niners this year look like incredible.
Yeah, they do.
So, how was it growing up as a kid, man?
I tell you, I tell people now, because reflection in my middle age at 46 is such a great view back to my childhood. The greatest generation, last generation, I believe, 80s and 90s. It was phenomenal. I mean, from now that I contrast it to where the world is today, I mean, the events that took place in my childhood, like, do you remember Hands Across America?
Yeah,
We held
yeah.
hands, for God's sakes. Strangers standing in the street holding hands. When's the last time that even came up? Any idea of that even came up?
Yeah.
Unless if you're protesting, you're not with people you know.
Yeah, yeah.
You're not in a group of people that large.
Hands
generally.
Across America.
Hands Across America. I remember it like yesterday. It was phenomenal.
They had like little pictures, right?
Yeah, yellow. I want to say it was a yellow and red emblem, yellow sticker with the red hand. And it was Hands Across America, just provoking kindness and peace and getting to know your neighbor, which we've drifted so far away from as America right now.
Yeah,
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Now, were you any mental health in your young age?
Yeah, well, to continue answering some of the question, I'm the youngest of 5. Well, I should say 6, because I do have another sister we discovered about 5 years ago. And although there's no DNA test to prove it, she looks like my aunt, my dad and my aunt. It's
Really?
like, Dad, come on. Okay, I know you may have creeped out at night at some point because this woman looks like you. There ain't no denying that.
Right.
It's a very strong Colvin feature. So I'll say the youngest of 6.
And you just met her 5 years ago?
About 4 or 5
And
years ago.
what happened when you met her?
Just continuing. We're friends on social
Oh, you're
media,
cool?
and just she's a wonderful person. Actually married a guy I went to high school with. I mean, it's
That's
bizarre.
amazing.
It's bizarre, but she's a wonderful person. Getting to know her and
Is there something that she does or says that you say, "Wow, that's my sister"? You know?
No, when I see her, just her resemblance alone, just strong features that look like my dad, you know? Like my daughter. People see my daughter, and ever since she was little, they're like, oh, well, there's no
Yeah.
joking that's your kid. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no denying that.
Yeah.
She's spit an image, so.
So you had how many brothers and sisters?
I have, Josh, Kevin, Sean, Brenda, Michelle. And then I was that last glimpse across the bar, I guess. I don't know what the hell my dad was thinking. Actually, he tells me now how pissed my mom was that he knocked her up.
Really?
Yeah, I guess she thought the game was over. I know. Dad, thank God for a poor pullout game, because here we are. Yep.
In school, how were you in school?
Awful. Not a
I
good
wasn't-
student.
I know.
I was shy, so shy that during kindergarten, here's a great story, just to, speaking of state of mind, in kindergarten, I'll never forget this day. Most people don't remember that far back. I can remember my first day in kindergarten, Mrs. Red going in, walking in with my mom, sitting down, and I could see the roundabout drive out the window. And I saw her, I want to say it was a Ford Thunderbird, old ass metal tank, driving off. I got up and I took off running. I chased her out. And she'll tell me to this day, and she says, Danny, why what's wrong, you know? And I thought you were never coming back for me. So that began for me the abandonment
Yeah.
voice, that people aren't there forever, you know,
Yeah.
that they leave. And that moment sticks with me so vividly, because there's been a series of those moments in my life through adolescence and even into 46 now, you know, where they don't go away. You learn to tame those voices,
Yeah.
you know, and tell them, hush, no.
It's funny you saying that. We're talking about this because we both know Majid,
Yeah,
and he has abandonment issues horribly.
yeah,
And what I do, I know it's not cool, but it's, in a way, I'm trying to help him. He'll call me a lot, and then I won't call him purposely, because I'm like, you need to get help here in this area.
yeah,
And just now, it's funny we're talking, bro.
yeah.
Just now, it's the first time, and we've been friends for over 30 years.
Wow.
First time that he didn't call me in 5 days. And
He's handling it. Sometimes it's good to sit in your discomfort.
But that's, I call, I said, Maj, I'm proud of you, buddy. I said, you haven't called me. He goes, I'm working on what you said, and what I know what my abandonment issue is. And I said, well, I'm proud of you, man. This is what I'm talking about. This is a good thing. It must, now I didn't have that.
Yeah.
It's funny how we're getting into this real quick. When I was a kid, I remember, and I think it's because my mom was just too much, right? And I always felt like, you know, I couldn't do without her or whatever it was. So when I was a little boy in kindergarten, I remember I would just cry in the corner. And this woman, I don't know what the hell this was about, but she would come to me and then like kiss me on the forehead and stuff.
Wow.
And I thought, well, what is this? Is scary.
Yeah.
And then I'd see my mom drive away. But I don't think I have the abandonment. I think I may have worked on it.
Yeah.
And so you still feel that.
I think it creeps up. Well, even into kindergarten, to continue that. I didn't play with the kids. You know, I hung out with the old lady, Mrs. Miller, who was the playground attendant, making sure the kids didn't get hurt. I held her hand and walked around with her. Eventually, I came around, and thanks to one of my good friends, I'm still friends with, Mike Herrera, it was my first friend in school, still friends to this day, 40 years later. And I came around, and I started to figure out me. You know, you do that, you start figuring out, oh, wow, I get rewards from my peers because I'm a fast runner, because I can do pull-ups on the monkey bars.
Right.
Oh, you start finding the behavior and reward system. And as humans, we want to go towards the things that make us feel good, stay the hell away from the stuff that makes us feel like shit. So that drove me. Like fitness. I'm telling you, I was like the monkey in a show when we'd have company over, because we had a punching bag, we had a speed bag, we had weights, we had a pull-up bar. And it'd be like, hey, Dan, show them how you do pull-ups, And I'd be doing these wacky, crazy, weird pull-ups and hitting the speed bag at, 8, 9 years old.
The way of showing, I can do this and I can do that better than you and all that kind of stuff. Now, abandonment issues.
Yeah.
How does that translate when you have relationships?
Well, I mean, it's hard to develop trust with people. Even if
they're trustworthy?
Well, it's
your issue then.
It is. It's an internal dialogue that's taking place, because so much of life is just questions. All your brain is a million miles a second asking questions. Is this person safe? Blah, 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 going back and forth.
But Daniel, I don't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
But I've come to the conclusion that it's best not to ask why.
Yeah. It's true.
Right? You eliminate so much bullshit if you just stop asking why. Because I hear why all the time on this end.
Yeah.
Why is this? Why does it? And I'm like, you don't need to ask 7 whys.
True. Yeah, it's
Keep
true.
going, bro. So you keep asking the whys, right? In order to trust somebody, you keep going.
But it's just that internal dialogue. And you have to tame that monster because it will take control. And it controls you with fear. I know. Fear of loss, fear of this. And I see it in my family, you know. We started talking outside a little bit earlier. And my family does. They do suffer with emotional and some mild sort of, I won't even say it's mild. It's a heavy sort of mental illness. It really is.
Now, is it depression, anxiety?
Anxiety, depression, social
You said your
anxiety.
mom hasn't flown in how long?
I'll be honest, I don't know if my mother has ever flown. I don't think she's ever been on a plane. Mom, I'm sorry if I'm not telling the truth. I don't think she's ever been on an airplane. I really don't think she's ever been on an airplane.
So she is so crippled by, and everybody knows, I don't need to get into my stuff.
Yep.
She's so crippled that she has not been on a plane and still doesn't want to go on a plane.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go on because I've been off to.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, wow.
To the point, and I love my mom.
Of course.
She is the world to me. Just the thought of her not being in my life or existing is painful. But she had said something that I know she meant good, but when I walked away, I found my secret place because I'm not a big crier. Yeah. And if I do, it's in my room. It's in quiet. It's peace. And I went away and I just bawled like a baby because she said, when I die, I want my body cremated and I want to give you some of the ashes to spread in your favorite place in California. Wow. Because she'll never be here to see my life.
Because she hasn't been able to go anywhere.
Crippled. And so some of it steals from me because I need her still. I still see that little boy in me that was scared looking out the window sometimes, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't go away. It's foolish to think you can just poof up, it goes away, I'm just going to rethink. No. I just went with my mom, God bless her, to her 60-year high school reunion.
Wow.
I was a fly on the wall taking videos. You know what I saw in that room? A bunch of teenagers with aged bodies. We don't really grow to the 90 up here.
No.
I mean,
No.
I'm 16 still.
Of
My
course.
body tells me different some days, but
I feel the same way. I don't feel 60, man.
not at all.
I mean, I'm not as good looking as you and stuff, but
I'm fighting gravity. I'm fighting gravity and all that shit. It's way overrated. I'm trying not to, but
I feel young, man. The only time I feel, I don't know why I'm getting so emotional, and this has been happening to me with these state of minds lately that I just can't. It's a good thing because I say to especially men,
yeah,
it's not weak to cry.
It's not.
It makes us who we are. It makes us stronger. That's why I got a T-shirt, not this one, but that says "Tears are your strength." Because one time I was crying, and I said, "But I feel strong."
Yeah.
And a tear was coming down.
Yeah.
I said, "That's because the tear isn't weakness. The tear is your strength."
It really, really is. And that's why it's necessary for us to be real men, because real men can cry and hold their strength.
Yes.
It's not weakness to me anymore, because the older I get, my lens has changed on how I see life. And,
I know.
Oh, my God. I do cry now, but growing up, I was calloused, man. I didn't feel anything. I was hardened.
Now, being that way, because this is making me want to take you somewhere else now.
Yeah.
Being that way, is that why you got into the Army? Because you knew you could be...
Well, to back it up even further, I found boxing at 12 years old.
Oh, I love boxing, man.
I found boxing at 12 years old, and that radically changed the trajectory of my entire life. Wow. It was underneath the American, or the Elks Club Lodge downtown, a little after school program. And I remember going down there, it was all musty and dirty. But I'll never forget when I first got to spar, I had a mouse under my eye. And I played football, I played baseball, I played all that. When I got my black eye, I wore that thing like a badge. There was just something about that sport that won me over.
I know.
And it was like, there's not 10 other guys that can lose this for me. I lose, I lose.
That's right.
I win,
That's right.
I win.
That's right.
So the work before that match is all up to me. What are you going to do to become better than the guy who thinks he's outworking you?
That's right.
And my coach was Irish. His name was Irish Forney. This old man changed my life. Because after the kids came to the program, came to the program and left, and it started to fizz away, and he got older, he was a 70-something-year-old man already. He said, don't quit, don't ever stop. You've got something here. You've got something. To the point when he got cancer, he gave me keys. And he said, don't stop. And his son, Mark, kept training me. Now, I never became world champion. I never became anything within that sport. But the training, the discipline, and the grit that I learned, especially coming out to California with that, has applied to every area of my life. It has opened doors for me. I can outwork anybody. There's a tenacity, there's a seed that I've always felt inside of me of something big. I feel boxing started to unlock the doors for that seed to finally grow. To the point where even this moment with you is surreal for me.
Yeah.
Coming from a town of 10,000 farmers, where it's not pushed that you can go be somebody. I wasn't told anything about college. I'm not a college grad. I didn't go to college.
No.
We didn't even talk about
No.
college at the table or in the house. I knew I wasn't going to go. So it wasn't an option.
We're a lot alike. I'm going to tell you why. Because I already know you can do whatever you want to do. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay? That's that discipline we're talking about. And I was the same way. I came from a little town in Martinez, and everybody laughed at me when I wanted to be a model, and then I didn't succeed. Then I wanted to be an actor, and I didn't really succeed in the beginning. But I have that in me. As fragile as I am, I have tenacity. And the more you say I can't do it, I'm going to do it. And now, and with you, I believe, this is just my opinion. I believe this is your time now because I think your whole life, something was stopping you. That's my opinion.
No,
That's
you're hitting it right on the head.
That's what I feel. And now you're letting it go. And I can feel it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the Army because I'm into it.
Yeah.
How was it?
An amazing experience.
So basic training was easy for you pretty much. I mean,
Well, I was considered old. I joined in 2000 and actually November 18th, 2002. So post 9/11. And I had just moved here in November of 2000. So I hadn't even been here a year and 9/11 happens. And I can remember the day just like we all can.
Right.
And I kept feeling over that time afterwards, like, I feel like I need to have a part in this. You know, I've always had a superhero complex. I want to be the superhero. I want to help people. I want to impact the world, you know? And so I felt it. And I went and met with a recruiter, and I felt like it was the right thing to do. And I ended up joining, and I was still fighting or boxing at Ken Shamrock's Lion's Den. So I didn't want to negate that. So I ended up joining the Army in 2002 and left 2003. Boot camp was an oh shit experience because I'll never forget, and I'm still friends with a buddy of mine in the East Coast. He was a former Navy. So when we were in reception battalion in boot camp, a bay of, 140 dudes, I didn't know how to make a damn bed.
That's me, man.
I was like, shit, how do you make an Army bed? This dude saved my ass because these guys would come walk in and they would check. And it was like, you guys figure it out. Between all of you, figure your shit out because
Why
we're
did it
coming
have to
through.
be so perfect?
Perfect. And this dude saved my ass and helped me learn how to make the bed properly. And I thought, well, man, if this is boot camp, this ain't too bad, you know? No, that wasn't boot camp. That was just in processing at reception battalion. Then we got loaded into the buses, cattle buses. And they're like, get in, it's nuts to butts. Get in, squeeze in. You got, I mean, excuse the language, but they called you every damn name under the moon.
Wow.
Just to break you down emotionally, to break you down.
But if you're like me, when if you're mentally ill, you can't go in there, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or if you exhibit signs of that, and we did. I mean, the first week in boot camp, there was dudes that were suicidal and they got moved. Yeah, yeah. Dudes trying to kill themselves. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Wow.
It's not for the weak of heart because it's tempering your emotions.
Yes.
Not physically. It's not the physical stress. It's the emotional stress of screaming and yelling and impossible feats. Get downstairs in full this, that in 30 seconds. Well, that ain't going to happen. It's not going to happen. You know, so they give you impossible instructions to break you.
To break you.
But the beauty is that they build you back up towards the end.
Yeah.
And then they start layering confidence on top of the broken ass person. Because once they get rid of that weak ass person that entered, now let's start building who you are. You know?
And that's similar to, I keep talking about, when you go through things in you know, anxiety, depression, not bipolar, because I'm bipolar, but more so anxiety, depression. You're so at the bottom, but when you get out of that, it just, you feel like you gotta, I mean, I'm not gonna compare to, you know, the army or anything, but you feel like you have a badge of honor. You have to feel that way.
You have to, because remember, you raised your right hand, and that oath says, I will die for the country, wherever you send me. It's a blank check to the government to send you wherever in the world, if it means death. And I was willing to do that, as well as, what do we have, 1.4 million active heroes serving this country right now. You know, not to mention reservists and
Did you end up fighting in anything?
I deployed 08, 09 to Camp Bondsteel in Kosovo, believe it or not.
I've heard that.
I went to Kosovo. In 08, 09, there was a little bit of a spiritual war between the Orthodox Christians and the Muslims because Albania said, no, Kosovo, you're not a sovereign nation. You belong to us. And they said no, and we supported them because they're part of NATO. And so we were there for Operation Enduring Freedom to maintain peace while there was a sovereign declaration of Kosovo from Albania. It was an amazing experience because you get to see true oppression, real oppression.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I went on missions.
Right in the eyes where you see them.
No, just hopelessness, you know? People just, they accept this is our life, this is the way of life, and that's it. And so it cracks your chest open to serve. So I tried to go on as many missions as I could outside the wire just to go serve and love and hold on to kids and...
No.
Absolutely.
And what are the kids? They're just broken, the kids?
They don't know much difference, but you can see it in the parents.
Ew,
and I'll tell you the hard part, which was a real eye opener for me, is when you do go outside the wire from the base, you're wearing Kevlar, you're carrying an M16, and it was jarring for me to be walking through villages or towns and seeing little kids look at me, and I'm thinking, how the hell would I feel here in San Diego if we seen foreign military walking the streets with full battle, full clips and magazines and ready to go to war, you know?
But you said something very telling for me. Like the kids don't really know
It's normal for them.
Yeah. So, you know, I sit here and it breaks my heart to think of children, but they don't, it's the parents that
Yeah,
know
yeah.
what's really happening.
And eventually the children, because they grow up to
Eventually.
become parents and they deal with what they're going to have to see going through their mind. And now, even today, what happened last weekend and what's continuing to happen
Yeah, yeah.
is going to just be more layers of mental struggle, because the people that are seeing the devastation in the world right now, you don't unsee all of that.
And you said that mental health is at the worst time right now.
I personally feel, especially for men,
Yeah.
that I think it's an epidemic of mental illness.
That's what I keep saying.
I think it's an incredible epidemic. I mean, just using the military as an example, we know 22 men commit suicide per day. Those are fathers, sons, daughters, I shouldn't say men, military service members, 22 a day. And those are only the ones that left a letter or notice of some sort that we can know, okay, Susie or John, they're gone. We don't know about the people that don't have family, that jumped off a bridge, or people that just disappeared and ended their life elsewhere, that maybe don't have contact with family, or family, or they're disassociated from their family. We don't know about those. We think it's closer.
PTSD and all that, right?
Yeah, because the military trains you to flip a switch on and be a combat warrior to your death, but they don't show you how to flip the switch off. So you come home with an on switch. And I'm lucky that in my deployment, I didn't have to go to that level. I feel God spared my mind, but I don't want to waste it. So that's why I sit here with you today as an advocate for men and women struggling. I just want my life to be used impactfully, from my struggles, from yours. Use those struggles as a map to get out of the place that you're at, you know, in that low place, those dark nights.
Yeah.
We've been there. I mean,
So you got out of there, and then you came home, and then what?
went through divorce.
Yeah, this is, you know, probably going to be difficult or for you to speak, or I don't know. Well, you speak about what you want.
Yeah.
What happened?
I mean, I'll tell you, before I deployed, there was a lot of training up to deployment, right? There's a lot of pre-deployment training. And my daughter was only 5. And I knew that I'm going to be away for a year, and she's going to not see me for a year. And so, honestly, I kind of turned off in my mind. I kind of shut down, and I gave her all of my attention. And I neglected my wife at the time and most anyone else. I poured everything into my little one, you know, just because I was thinking, you know, maybe this isn't a high combat zone, but shoot, you can get killed anywhere now. I mean, so I was emotionally shutting off.
Yeah, because you felt like any second could be the last second.
Yeah, it could. Yeah.
And so you gave your daughter your all when you probably should have been giving your wife a bit more. Is that what happened?
Absolutely. I should have been, I mean, I won't say should have, because I believe all things happen intentional. I think there's a divine orchestration with things, and that with experiences we get to use them if we're able, and we allow ourselves. But I didn't do my part as a husband or a man. I didn't do my full part. I didn't step in like I should have. And I don't regret it, because we're in a place now where we're friends. We stayed friends. We stayed really good friends even to this day, because we agreed after the divorce, like, listen, it's no longer about us, it's about her. And let's make sure she has a healthy mentality about us as her parents.
So you hang with your ex-wife.
holidays, and
I don't mean, you know, it's
her
fun.
husband too. As a matter
No,
As
no.
a matter of fact, okay, so just to give you, and this is nothing against her. She made a decision to, when she met her husband, he was from England, and my daughter was, I think, 6 at the time, and we were divorced, and she moved to England with him, and so I was a single dad, and she helped financially.
Yeah.
With child support and everything, she did, and I tried to accommodate every Zoom call, telephone call, and all of that. But
How did you deal with it at that time?
man,
With being with your daughter and then your, I guess, ex-wife
ex-wife,
is in London,
Manchester.
Manchester with some dude?
They're married. They're still married. So hats off to them. They're
Hats off. for
sticking it out.
How much? That I don't mean to laugh,
No.
but that period, how long was it?
4 years. You mean
you-
of me and my daughter alone?
Yeah.
Just single parenting. I think it was almost 3 to 4 years, somewhere in there, because she was 10 when they moved. They moved to Denver about a year and a half after she moved to England. That was the closest place. And then my daughter, I mean, this kid had more damn air flights to Denver.
I get it.
to
But
see her mom.
emotionally and mentally for you must have been incredibly difficult.
Oh, it was horrible. It was painful. I hated going to the airport to drop my kid off and walking her and watch her walk down the tunnel to the airplane and just, I mean. But you know what? She and I developed such a wonderful bond
I
together.
can imagine.
I mean,
you see Kramer versus Kramer with Dustin Hoffman
I know.
and Meryl Streep,
It's been a
It's-
long time. I
it-
know what you're talking about.
where he had, you know, she was with some dude,
Yeah.
and he was with the boy.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but it was difficult. But I even get emotional even talking about it. Because
Yep.
he had to take care of the son, and you know that's just the way it was. You know.
And we figured it out. It wasn't easy because I was working in a hospital in Reno at the time. Because Ken Shamrock's a really close friend of mine.
I did Frank Shamrock on the
He's a phenomenal.
State of Mind.
Did you really? Frank did? Wow. Their dad, Bob, God bless his soul.
I know the whole he put the
Bob was like a dad to me. He was like my West Coast dad.
yeah.
He, I mean, we'd go cruising and he collected Cadillacs.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
was a
yeah.
Cadillac collector,
Yeah.
and he had this pink 60-something convertible Cadillac. He's like, hey, if you ever need help getting a date, I'll let you take the car. And I'm like, man, he was just a special person. And Ken and that family, they're special people because they
Yeah.
didn't really know me, and they took me in, and they let me, I lived with them for a minute. So did my daughter.
Well, they took Frank in too. That was the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah, in the boys' home in Susanville.
Yeah.
I think he raised over 800 kids, boys.
damn.
Over the full span, over 800 boys went through that home. I think is the number I heard.
Oh, those are angels, man. So, before we conclude this, because it's been phenomenal, but
I'm bouncing around. I apologize.
I love it, man. I think
My brain goes.
No, I'm just fascinated by. I'm fascinated. Look, maybe because I've been with my wife only for over 30 whatever years,
Yeah.
34 years.
Yeah,
But people and I've had many talks like this where people get divorced and then they're friends with the person's new husband and stuff.
yeah.
And I think I'm just don't have that much self-worth or something to be able to do that. I've never done it.
Yeah.
But you did it.
It-
How is it to be around the guy that
Let me tell you this. This will really tip you off here. When they would visit from England, they stayed with us, and I would give them my bedroom. My ex-wife and her husband, I gave them my bedroom, the master, and I slept with my daughter in her room. And it was not about me. It was only, what gift can you give your daughter Bella? I want your parents to be close. I want your mom to be close with you. I don't want them to have to drive and travel and rent cars and do this. You guys can stay with me. This is no longer about me. This is about this little girl. And I want her to have the healthiest life
Amazing.
and the healthiest emotions possible, because I know how I grew up, you know, and my struggle. And I wanted to limit her struggle emotionally.
Look, that's the way it should be, Daniel. And you're a great man to be able to do that.
Thank you.
I just don't know how I would, like that.
Well, I didn't know either.
And then you did it.
I just said,
Did you think you could?
well, there's a funny thing that happens when you see your ex with another man, right?
Right. That's what I'm trying to.
There's a certain like
Yes.
a kick
Yes.
in your gut, and it kind of takes you away a little bit. But when you contrast that to my daughter,
I
who will
understand.
eternally be with
Understand.
me, I was like, that was a moment. This is forever.
Wow.
I need to nurture
Write that
forever.
down, Daniel.
Yeah,
Write that, whatever you just said.
yeah. This was a moment.
This was a moment, and this is forever.
Yeah.
Don't forget that. That's a beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's exactly how it is, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly how it should be.
Yeah.
I hope I never have to be in that or witness that.
Yeah.
But I swear to you, if I ever did, what you just said would help me.
Yeah.
If it's for the children, it's not take it out of you.
Well, you just have to find the deeper meaning, right?
Yeah,
Not the superficial temporary. You have to find the deepest meaning possible to the action that you're about to take, so that you can endure whatever comes. The
Exactly.
kick, who cares? It's just a kick.
Exactly.
This little person right here
Yes.
will live on and carry my DNA after I'm long gone.
Yes.
And have children. And I want her to tell stories about her dad. I want her to tell the kids how crazy and awesome I was. Most of all, I want her to know I lived. And I didn't live in fear. I chased dreams, and I went after it all. Wow. There's no juice left in the tank. I went after it all because it's worth it. If this life is worth going after every gift that God put in us. And
Damn, there's not enough. The mic has dropped.
Les Brown said, and I don't know if he took it from somebody else, he said, the richest place in the world is the graveyard, because so many people let fear rob the world of the gifts and talents that they had in them that they died with because they never took a chance. They never jumped, never sang a song, never jumped in front of the camera and did that scene or that audition.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and you can relate to this. The older you get, the more your give a fuck meter goes away.
Yes,
you
completely.
just put things
Completely.
in a different light, and you just realize the shit that I've been worried about so long. The people I worried about thinking about me were never thinking about me. They never.
no.
Who cares?
The minute you stop giving a shit about what people think is the minute you let go and grow. That's how I've done that now for a couple years. So for 58 years, I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, hitting my 40s was also a new change emotionally for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't believe in midlife crisis. I was like, pussies, whatever. No, there's a change that happens. When you realize your parents are at the end of their story and that you're going to enter into a new story,
Yeah, the last
it's
chapter.
scary.
Yeah,
It's freaking
yeah,
intimidating. And then I have siblings that are not exactly the healthiest. And so
All right, listen, Daniel.
we could go on and on.
On and on.
We could. I
I
feel
just
it.
want to say, I'll talk to the audience for a second about Daniel Lee Colvin. This is when I don't know what I'm going to say. It just comes out. First of all, Daniel Lee Colvin should have a show like this tomorrow. Tomorrow. And I've said this maybe 5 times out of 300 interviews that I've done.
Wow.
People should have a show. It comes to me in the middle of the interview. Something inside me goes, this dude should be doing this, his own. Okay, that said, it was really it's special to have you today.
Yeah.
It was. I think it was meant to be, and I know it was meant to be because I had to. Well, we won't get into it, what we had to do to get in here, you know. But sometimes money, you can't put a price on great stories and
Yeah.
a man with a heart, and that's what you have. And thank you, man. I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
This is a gift for me. And if I do have my show, when we do,
I'll be there, man.
You're gonna be my first guest.
I'll be there right any second you want.
And I believe in kindred souls,
Yeah.
like brothers. And I really feel that with you. I hope that I'm okay saying that on this right here.
Absolutely. You say what you want.
Yeah.
It was just cool as hell, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just cool, like we know each other.
Yep. Yep. I feel that.
State of mind. Thank you, brother.
Thank you. What a gift.
That was fucking great.